let's dive straight into the heart of things. Kind of Blue, an album that shifted the tides of jazz music, fundamentally changing how we approach our craft. It's not just an album, it's a declaration, a movement. Miles, why don't you start us off with what sparked this masterpiece?
It was like the music was suffocating, you know? Everywhere you turned, it was the same chord progressions trapping you, trapping the music. Kind of Blue wasn't just about breaking free, it was about exploring new worlds, modal worlds where the music could breathe, where I could breathe.
Interesting you say that. My playing, my compositions have always toyed with the idea of space and unorthodox structures. But modal jazz, that was a different beast. It was like stepping out of a room you've been locked in your whole life.
It wasn't just the structures for me. Bebop was fast, furious, a tempest. Kind of Blue slowed us all down, made us think, listen.
I gotta say, switching gears from the hot jazz I was used to hearing the cool tones on Kind of Blue, it was refreshing, but also a bit unsettling. I mean, we were used to making people dance, not ponder.
It's that reflective quality, though, that's made Kind of Blue so enduring. It's not just background music, it demands your full attention.
Absolutely, Ella. There was something deeply spiritual about those sessions. Each note played was like a step further into a meditation. I've always believed music has the power to transcend, and during those recordings, it felt like we touched something divine.
That's because we weren't just playing notes, we were telling stories, unscripted, unrestrained. Kind of Blue wasn't just about music, it was about life, its blues, its unpredictability.
And it all boiled down to simplicity. The beauty in a single note, a pause. There's a universe in those gaps, in the unplayed.
Speaking of unplayed, let's not forget the shadows behind those notes. The personal struggles, the societal pressures. This album, it's as much about what's happening off the record as on it.
True, we can't ignore the backdrop against which this masterpiece was painted. But at the heart of it, the music, those modal shifts, they spoke directly to the soul.
They still do, and that's why we're here, to peel back the layers of Kind of Blue, to explore its impact and legacy. But remember, this is a discussion, a heated one, if need be. So let's not shy away from the tough conversations.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Let's dive deep and see what we uncover.
Let's dive right in. Miles, you spearheaded Kind of Blue, a monumental shift to modal jazz. What stirred this move from chord progressions to modes?
It was about breaking free. You know, bebop was cool, but it felt like running in circles after a while. Chords dictate too much. With modes, I handed the keys over to the musicians, told them, paint your pictures. It was more about the space between the notes than the notes themselves.
Working within those modes, it was like I found new paths up the mountain, ways I hadn't seen before. It was freer, but also demanded you bring more of yourself into the music.
You see, that space Miles talking about, that's where the magic hides, in the silence between. But don't get it twisted. Those freedoms come with their own rules. It's like chess, infinite moves, but you gotta know the game.
Bebop was never a box for me, but I get it. Modal jazz, it's less about speed, more about depth. Kind of Blue lays back, lets the music breathe in a way bebop just doesn't.
Man, I've been playing long enough to see music evolve in ways I couldn't have imagined. This modal thing, it's cool, gives the soloist a whole new playground, but it takes the right kind of ears to swing it the way y'all did.
Each approach offers something unique, and what you all achieved on Kind of Blue clearly speaks volumes. How do you think this shift affected vocal jazz and the interpretation of standards?
Vocals gotta feel the music the same way instrumentalists do. When the band's mood shifts, the singer's gotta shift too. It's all about feeling, living within the music.
You're right, Miles. With vocals, it's about telling that story, modal or not. But yeah, it pushed us singers to think differently, to feel that space and ride it, not just the melody.
It's like being part of a bigger conversation, isn't it? Where everyone's voice, instruments, vocally or otherwise, contributes to the unfolding story.
It certainly is. In Kind of Blue, each note, each silence becomes a word in a much larger narrative. Whether we're singing or playing, we're all telling the same story, just with different voices.
Exactly. And remember, it ain't always what you play, it's what you don't. That goes for singing too. The notes you skip make the ones you hit mean something more.
True words, Thelonious. It's all jazz, after all. Innovating, expressing, it's what we do. Whether through a horn, piano, or voice, it's about pushing those boundaries, finding new ways to tell our tales.
Indeed, it's the spirit of jazz to transform and transcend. Kind of Blue is a testament to that, a conversation across instruments, genres, and generations, always exploring, always expressing. Let's dive right into the heart of Kind of Blue, the creative process and inspirations behind it. Miles, you kicked off this album. What sparked this masterpiece?
It wasn't just a spark, it was a necessity. The music was becoming too complex, too confined. I needed to strip it down, let it breathe. The inspiration came from everywhere and nowhere, like a painting you feel but can't describe.
Working on Kind of Blue opened doors inside of me I didn't know were there. It was more than just notes, it was about spaces between those notes. Miles handed us a map to explore new territories in music.
Yeah, spaces. It's all about those spaces and how they're filled or left empty. The silence in music can speak just as loudly as a blaring horn. That's where the real creativity comes in the choices we make in those moments.
And how about those moments of collaboration? Did they shape the final sound?
Absolutely. Each session was like a conversation, sometimes heated, always passionate. We weren't just playing music, we were creating a language.
That's right, Train. And every man brought his own dialect. The thing about Kind of Blue is it ain't about just one of us. It's the sum of all our parts, the spaces between us, the sounds we make, and the silence we keep.
You talk about spaces and silence, Miles, but it's the spontaneity that struck me. Jazz is the art of the moment, and Kind of Blue captures that. It's alive. It breathes.
Improvisation is the heart of jazz, sure. But what Miles did was give that improvisation a new frame, a less cluttered frame. That's why Kind of Blue stands out. It's improvisation, but with a kind of clarity you don't find elsewhere.
Emotional undertones of the album are deeply felt. Miles, was this deliberate?
Nothing in music is accidental. Every note, every pause carries emotion. It's about life, about feeling. If you're not putting your soul into it, you're just playing notes.
And don't forget, each track was like a different emotional landscape. Blue and Green ain't Freddie Freeloader. They inhabit different emotional spaces.
True, every piece tells a different story, makes you feel a different shade of blue. It's like painting with music. Each color evokes a different response.
And the beauty of Kind of Blue is in how these colors blend together. It ain't just blue, it's every shade, every tint. That's the genius of it.
It seems Kind of Blue remains a singular point in each of your artistic journeys, a place where collaboration, innovation, and emotion meet. It's not just an album, it's a moment in time, forever capturing the essence of jazz.
That's it. It's about capturing a moment, holding it tight, and then letting it go. That's jazz. That's Kind of Blue.
Let's dive into how Kind of Blue influenced not just jazz, but music and artists across the board. Louis, your thoughts?
Well, Ella, back in my day, we played what we felt, and that's what I hear in Kind of Blue. It's not just playing notes, it's about playing life. That record, it spoke to folks in my circle, made us all sit up a little straighter, you know?
That's the whole point, Louis. We were crafting a sound that wasn't just for the now. It was meant to resonate beyond the confines of what folks thought jazz was or could be. It wasn't just a moment, it was a movement.
Absolutely, Miles. Kind of Blue pushed boundaries. It made me rethink my approach to my own work, broadening my perception of what was possible within the realms of jazz. This album, in essence, taught us all to speak a newer, freer language of music.
You guys talk about pushing boundaries, but let's not gloss over the sheer inventiveness of it. Before this, jazz was all about fast fingers and complicated chords. Then comes Kind of Blue, slowing things down, making space within the music. It was about the notes you didn't play. That's the innovation.
And let's not ignore the undercurrent of rebellion in it, too. This wasn't just music. It was a statement against the status quo, against the constraints of bebop, propelling us into new territories. Kind of Blue defied norms and opened doors for what I was trying.
It's intriguing to see how an album could have such a cross-generational impact. influencing both your musical styles and broader cultural movements.
True, but let's be real, not everyone was ready for it. Some cats thought it was too simple, too stripped back. But that simplicity, that's where the genius lies. It was accessible, yet profound, a rare combination.
Simplicity or not, it made people listen, really listen. And that's what music's about, isn't it? Making you feel something you didn't know you needed to feel.
It transcended jazz, reaching into soul, rock, and beyond. Its influence is like a ripple effect, touching artists and genres Miles never even thought about.
And despite what anyone says, its legacy is undeniable. How many albums can claim they shifted the entire landscape of jazz?
Just shows, doesn't it? You don't have to be loud to be heard. Sometimes it's the quiet ones that change the game.
Amidst all its innovation and controversy, Kind of Blue remains a testament to the power of music to evolve, to challenge, and to inspire across decades. It's fascinating to see how it has touched each of you and countless others in such profound ways. Let's dive into the recording sessions of Kind of Blue. Miles, you spearheaded these sessions with a vision. How did spontaneity play into this?
The whole thing about Kind of Blue, it wasn't just music we were laying down. It was pure, unadulterated expression. We went in, no rehearsals, just a few sketches. I wanted raw emotion, the first take. That's where the truth lies.
Working with Miles on that, each take was like a spiritual journey. There wasn't much written down, but in that freedom, we found something profound. It was beyond notes on a page.
Freedom's one thing, but discipline's another. The genius of those sessions wasn't just the spontaneity, it was control in the chaos. That's where true creativity lives.
Yeah, but let's not romanticize it too much. Studio pressures, man, they can either make or break you. We've all felt that heat.
And amid that pressure, the emotional depth captured was phenomenal.
You're damn right. There's something special, making gold out of thin air. But let's not forget the camaraderie. That studio was electric, vibing off each other. That's jazz.
Electric, yes, but strained at times. Every genius in their own right battling egos. It wasn't always smooth.
True, but those tensions, they didn't weaken the music. They enriched it. Every note we played was a conversation, sometimes argumentative, but always pushing towards something transcendent.
Arguments or not, every push got us closer to something nobody's ever done before. It was like stepping off a cliff and discovering you can fly.
Flying's one thing, landing's another. What we captured in those sessions, it's like catching lightning in a bottle.
And amidst that spontaneity and tension, you all created a masterpiece, a testament to jazz's enduring power.
A masterpiece, yeah, but it was just us being us. No pretense, just music. Sometimes that's all you need.
Music, yes, but also a bit of magic, and ain't nobody can deny that room was full of it.
Let's dive into the soul of Kind of Blue, particularly focusing on the spontaneity and first takes that shaped its essence. Miles, you insisted on this approach. Why gamble with spontaneity?
It's about capturing a moment, a fleeting breath of life. When you play it safe, rehearse over and over, you lose that raw edge, that moment of truth. Jazz ain't about perfection on paper. It's about the perfection of the moment, the emotion. That's what sticks with people. I agree with Miles. Jazz is the sound of surprise. It's living on the edge. Every time I picked up my horn, I didn't just play music, I lived through it. Each note, a step into the unknown. The drive for that first take, it's the purest form of creation.
But there's a spiritual dimension to it as well. Spontaneity in our music is like life itself, unpredictable, a journey of discovery. Each first take is a prayer, an offering that we're putting out into the universe. It transforms not just the musician, but anyone who comes into contact with that moment of creation.
It's about the beauty of the mistake, too. Some of my best tunes came from what some might call a wrong note. But what's wrong in the grand cosmos of sound? Kind of Blue lives because it dared to embrace the imperfections, turning them into perfect moments.
That spontaneity brings a certain joy, It's that feeling of dancing on the tip of a lightning bolt. Sure, it's risky, but ain't that the thrill of jazz? It's laughter, tears, life in all its shades. We captured life.
Exactly, it's capturing lightning in a bottle. Kind of Blue wasn't about overthinking. It was feel, react. play. If jazz is conversation, then spontaneity is its most honest language. And let's not forget how this approach opens doors. Miles, you laid down a challenge with Kind of Blue. You showed us that the unknown wasn't to be feared, but embraced.
This authenticity, it resonates beyond jazz. It's a lesson for life itself. Being true, being present, risking the comfort of the rehearsed for the thrill of the moment. That's what touches the soul.
This album, our music, it's a beacon for future generations to show them not to fear their voice, their truth. Play it like it's your only chance to speak.
That's it. It's about speaking your truth, even if your voice shakes. There's a purity in that first take, a story being told for the first and last time in that exact way.
And that's why Kind of Blue will forever stand the test of time, because it's real, it's human. As long as there are listeners, that need for the genuine, the spontaneous, will never fade.
So we see the impact of that spontaneity, of capturing the moment. It's a call to embrace the now, with all its imperfections. Kind of Blue teaches us to live, play, and be in the moment, truthfully and fearlessly. We're diving deep into how Kind of Blue reflects and responds to racial identity, and jazz as a voice of cultural expression. Let's get into it, gentlemen.
Look, the civil rights movement was unfolding right outside the studio. Kind of Blue wasn't just music. It was our way to scream without opening our mouths. It's pain and struggle, it's hope. Jazz has always been a reflection of what's happening to our people.
That's the truth, Miles. Jazz was our news before we had a spot on the news. We played our hardships and our triumphs. You think about songs like Black and Blue, it's our heart on a plate.
Jazz transcends, man. It speaks a universal language that doesn't see color. But we can't ignore the roots, our roots. It's the soul of our people, reaching out and touching souls across oceans. With Kind of Blue, there's a spiritual awakening, beyond just notes.
And it ain't just about the notes, you dig? It's the spaces between them. Silence speaks volumes too. We're talking about life, encapsulating the whole African American experience without saying a word. It's in the way the piano keys hesitate, the sax lingers. It's all there.
Y'all got it. But remember, jazz is struggle, constant struggle. It's fighting to get your voice heard. Kind of Blue, it laid down the tracks for others to follow, showed how to fight without throwing a punch. And don't get it twisted. This isn't just for us by us. It's speaking to everyone who's felt oppression's heavy hand. Jazz is defiance in velvet.
But let's not forget, we played the same clubs they wouldn't let us drink in. Our music broke down barriers that laws couldn't.
True, and our music has always been a step ahead, paving the way for change, opening hearts before minds even know they're doing it. Kind of Blue is no different. It's timeless because the struggle is still real.
Exactly, Ella. But the beauty of jazz, and especially Kind of Blue, is its resilience. It's spinning adversity into art. That's our gift to the world, and our burden too.
Let's face it, jazz is the soul's protest, a melodic uprising. And we, its messengers, have always been ahead, painting the future with notes from the past and present.
Right, it ain't just music, it's life. And Kind of Blue is a testament to that. Our lives, our stories, our blues. And ain't nobody can take that from us. Our music, our message, it's indelible, like a force of nature, carving its own path, come what may.
And that, my friends, is the power of our jazz. Kind of Blue ain't just an album. It's a milestone in that journey, a beacon for those who felt the weight of the world, in any color at any time.
Amen to that. Our sound is our legacy, our contribution to the fight for a better tomorrow, one note at a time.
Gentlemen, it's clear Kind of Blue is more than a collection of tracks. It's our heart, our pain, our hope, and our triumph. Let's keep playing, keep fighting, keep living through our music. Let's dive into how Kind of Blue influenced our personal musicianship and artistic development. Miles, how did this album shape your future projects?
Kind of Blue was like stepping through a doorway for me. It wasn't just about playing fewer chords, it was about exploring spaces between those chords. That exploration didn't stop. It evolved into everything I did afterward. Every note I played, I questioned, is this necessary? It was about making the silences as profound as the sounds.
For me, The album opened my eyes to the vastness of musical expression. It was like being shown a new color on the palette I never knew existed. I began to see my saxophone as not just an instrument, but as an extension of my inner self, exploring spirituality through music.
Yeah, well, Kinda Blue was cool, but it wasn't the be-all and end-all. Music's about breaking rules, man. Miles, we always pushed against what was expected. Kinda Blue did that, sure, but so did everything I touched on the piano. It's all about finding your own voice.
I gotta say, Thelonious has a point. We all were digging into our souls, trying to pull out something real, something raw. Kind of Blue just showed a different path up the same mountain. My journey through bebop was all about speed, improvisation, living on the edge. But it's true, Miles kind of slowed things down, made us all listen a bit closer.
You cats talk about exploration and individuality, but let's not forget the roots. Kinda Blue was revolutionary, but my horn was speaking soul well before that. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. Armstrong's What a Wonderful World ain't modal jazz, but it's the spirit, the emotion that connects. It's all about touching hearts, man.
And from a vocalist's perspective, Kinda Blue was a study in phrasing, in using space to tell a story. It wasn't about filling every moment with sound, but letting the emotion breathe. It's a conversation, an intimate one, and that's something every singer, every musician should learn from.
That's exactly it. It's about emotion. It's about what you feel in the moment and how you translate that feeling into sound. Kind of Blue wasn't a destination. It was just part of the journey.
And it's a journey that never ends. Every time I picked up my sax after Kind of Blue, I wasn't just playing music. I was searching for truth, pushing boundaries. That's the legacy. It's not just in the notes, but in the relentless pursuit of what lies beyond them.
Boundaries? Man, I lived beyond boundaries. My music wasn't about following a path. It was about creating a new one every single time. Kind of Blue is a signpost, sure, but the road is endless.
And every note we play is a step on that road. Miles, you made folks slow down and listen. I made them sit up and take notice. It's all part of the same symphony, the symphony of jazz.
Amen to that. We each brought something unique to the table, but in the end, it's all about giving something of yourself. Kinda Blue, my stuff, Thelonious, Coltrane's, Charlie's, and Ella's. It's all chapters in the same book, the Book of Jazz.
Well said, everyone. Kind of Blue isn't just an album, it's a moment in time that each of us, in our way, have carried forward. It's about pushing forward, never being satisfied, always searching for that next note, that next breath. That's the essence of jazz, the essence of life. All right, everyone, let's chop it up about Kind of Blue and its immortal spot in jazz. How do you see its legacy?
This isn't just about Kind of Blue being another record. It's a statement, a manifesto. It was when jazz stopped being what people thought it should be and started being what it could be. That's its legacy.
I hear you, Miles, but let's not forget the roots. Jazz is about soul, about struggle and joy. Kinda Blue is cool, yes, but the fire of earlier jazz, the heart of it, that's the summit, always.
But Louis, man, you're missing the point. Kind of Blue took that fire and tempered it, made it cooler but no less intense. It's like taking a wild, fast break and slowing it down so you hear every note's story.
They're both sides of the same coin. Kind of Blue showed us space in music. It's not just about filling the air with notes, it's about the silence between them too. That silence speaks volumes.
In that space, in that silence, there's a spiritual journey. Kind of Blue carved paths we're still exploring, pushing beyond the seen into the unseen. It's a beacon, showing us there are always new directions in music, new depths to explore.
And let's not sugarcoat it. Kind of Blue wasn't just music, it was a cultural shift, a new language. It didn't just influence jazz, it bled into rock, hip-hop, classical. It's timeless because it's truth.
And that truth, it resonates, doesn't it? Across generations, across genres.
Sure, it resonates, but don't get lost in the new and forget the roots. Every note in Kind of Blue stands on the shoulders of what came before. The legacy is bigger than one album.
That's just it, though. It bridges, man. Kind of Blue bridges the old and the new, the fast and the slow, the complex and the simple. It's a turning point, but it's also a meeting place.
A meeting place of minds, of cultures. It's not just about the musicians playing, it's about the listeners, across decades, across borders, all finding something personal in it, something beyond words.
And beyond the personal, it's universal. It touches something deep inside, something common to all of us. Its legacy is in its capacity to inspire, to move, to transform.
When you put that record on, it's not just the past playing, it's the present, the future. It's a conversation that's never finished, always evolving. That's its place in jazz, in history.
Each of you, in your own right, has made history. But together, discussing Kind of Blue, you've illuminated its enduring legacy, not just in the notes played, but in the space between them, in the silences, in the cultural shifts it prompted, and the conversations it continues to inspire. Let's dive into the heart of Kind of Blue and its groundbreaking innovations in jazz. Miles, you pioneered this shift toward modal jazz. Did you anticipate the resistance it faced?
Resistance? Yeah, I anticipated it. Jazz purists wanted their chord progressions like lifelines. But see, I wasn't about looking back. Modal jazz was liberating, a way to simplify and deepen the music simultaneously. It's like painting with fewer colors but deeper shades.
The modal approach opened a new realm for me. It was like stepping into another spiritual dimension. It's where I found my voice, moving through scales that felt infinite. Critics said it was too simple, too spare. But there's complexity in simplicity, something profound in stripping things down to their essence.
Complexity and simplicity, yeah, that's hitting it on the nail. It's about finding new paths, new ways to express the unexpressed. Modal jazz wasn't just a shift in technique, it was an entirely new language. Innovations aren't always met with open arms, but that's the nature of progress.
Now, I'm all for progress, but this modal thing, it took me a minute, I come from a place where jazz was about that hot fire, those lively rhythms, this cool laid-back approach. It was different, but it grew on me. Jazz is a conversation, and modal gave us new words.
The thing about modal jazz is, it challenged us, challenged me. Here I was, steeped in bebop, all about those complex chord changes. Then comes along Kind of Blue. It stripped away what I knew and asked, what else you got? It was a gut check, a reminder that innovation doesn't stop with us.
And it's this innovation that has allowed Kind of Blue to resonate through generations, isn't it? It wasn't just about breaking from the past, but also setting a stage for the future of jazz.
Exactly. It's about legacy. What you leave behind for the next cats coming up. Kind of Blue wasn't just for the folks back then, it's for folks now and tomorrow. It's why it stays relevant, keeps reaching new ears. That's the power of pushing through those boundaries, no matter the pushback.
It's about speaking a universal language, one that transcends time and place. Kind of Blue does just that. It's a beacon for what jazz can be when you let it break free.
Right? It's not just about being new for the sake of new. It's about expressing the inexpressible, finding new ways to say what's been said 1,000 times, but never quite like this.
And let's not forget, it takes courage to step out like that, to put something into the world that defies expectations. Kind of Blue is a testament to that courage, to the belief in something greater than the sum of its parts.
Indeed. It wasn't just changing jazz, it was about changing how we think about music, about life. You start seeing the spaces between the notes, the silence that speaks as loudly as the sound.
So the legacy of Kind of Blue lies not just in its sound, but in its spirit of exploration and expression. It's a landmark not only in jazz, but in the broader landscape of music and culture. It shows us that the essence of innovation is not just in what is said, but how we say it, and the courage to say it differently. Let's dive into how Kind of Blue found its way into the digital age, reaching ears far beyond what any of us could have imagined.
It's something, ain't it? We made that album in a world of vinyl and tapes. Now it's streamed, floating in some cloud. Makes me wonder about the purity of music and its consumption.
Digital technology has democratized music in a way. Kind of Blue reaches souls we never could have touched directly. It's a spiritual journey that transcends the physical format.
But there's something to be said about the ritual of dropping a needle on a record. Digital lacks that tactility. The soul, man. I worry the ease of access can dilute the reverence for the art.
It's all sound waves in the end. digital, vinyl, it doesn't change the notes we played. If a kid in Tokyo can find solace in blue and green because he streamed it, who are we to complain?
I see it as passing the torch. If our music inspires just one young cat to pick up a horn, to sing, to keep jazz alive, then it's all worth it. It don't matter how they hear it, as long as they feel it.
But is the essence captured? You lose the warmth, the depth. Nowadays, folks listen with one ear in a subway, not the deep listening we envisioned.
Yet, consider the alternative, Miles. Without digital, our legacy could be locked in a past era, inaccessible to many.
True. And it's not just about preservation, but evolution. Artists now sample, remix, reinterpret our work. It's a living, breathing entity. Kind of Blue is not just ours anymore. It belongs to the future.
Yeah, but at what cost? Everyone's a DJ today, messing with the sacred without understanding the roots. It's a double-edged sword.
The beauty of jazz is its ability to adapt, to absorb. We've always borrowed, trained, and transformed. Digital is just a new instrument in the ensemble.
Still, it's about the message, the feeling. Kind of Blue carries emotions, stories. As long as that heart beats through whatever speaker or headphones, jazz ain't going nowhere. It'll keep morphing, but the soul remains.
I suppose the challenge for the new breed is to respect the roots while pushing boundaries. Don't just play with technology, inject it with the same passion and depth we did, in whatever the era.
Kind of Blue in the digital age is a bridge between generations, a testament to the timeless nature of true artistry. It's up to us and those who follow to ensure the essence of jazz, its heart, its soul, continues to resonate no matter the medium.
In the end, it's about the music. Let's keep the music playing. Let it reach whoever it needs to, however it needs to. That's the true legacy.
Amen to that. Let's not fear the future, but embrace it, horns, keys, and all.
Now, as we draw this discussion to a close, let's each offer our take on the lasting impact of Kind of Blue. Miles, start us off, will you?
This album, it's not just music, it's a revolution in sound, a harbinger of change. It showed what can happen when you break from the norm, embrace the new. The legacy, it's infinite. Taught generations to appreciate the silence between notes, to understand the depth of simplicity. Not everyone got it back then, some still don't, but those who do, they understand the blueprint we laid down.
I hear you, Miles, but let's not forget, music is about touching souls, spreading joy. Kind of Blue did just that, but it was standing on the shoulders of what came before. Our legacy, it's like jazz itself, mutating, growing, but always rooted in the soil of New Orleans, in the heartbeats of those who came before us.
Rooted, yes, but soaring beyond, Lewis. You can't tether innovation.
Both have their truths. Kind of Blue was a door to new realms for me, a path to spiritual exploration through music. Our personal growth as musicians reflects in our art. This album encouraged others to seek, to push boundaries. That's its true legacy, the pursuit of transcendence through music.
Music's about honesty, individuality. Kind of Blue embodies that. But let's not romanticize. The journey ain't easy. It's filled with trials. Yet that's what makes the end result worthwhile. Our legacy, it's in breaking the molds, showing there's no single way to express, to be.
Yeah, but trouble is, folks get caught up in the myth, not the music. They talk about Kind of Blue like it's some kind of untouchable relic. What we ought to remember, and keep passing on, is the fire that birthed it, the relentless quest for something new, something true. That push against the barriers, that's the legacy.
I hear passion, conflict, but above all, a shared reverence for innovation and emotional depth. Kind of Blue isn't just a record, it's a landmark of cultural expression, challenging each new generation to explore their own blue depths. Whether it's through the purity of a first take or the complexity of evolving jazz forms, its essence lies in the courage to create, to express authentically.
Exactly, it's about moving forward, not staying stagnant, not worshipping the past, but learning from it.
And yet it's that very past, our roots and traditions, that give us the foundation to rise, to swing, to fly.
True innovation never denies its origins. It builds upon them, reaching for something higher, something deeper.
In the end, it's about expression, personal and pure. Our fingerprints on the ivory, our breath in the brass, that's the legacy.
Let's not forget the battles fought, the barriers broken, our music, our struggles. they're intertwined. Kind of Blue stands as a monument, not just to what we achieved, but to the endless possibilities of where music can go.
So as we each continue in our own rhythms, may we never lose sight of the profound impact and endless exploration that Kind of Blue represents. A testament to the power of music to speak across generations, to evolve, to inspire. Thank you all for a spirited and enlightening discussion. May the music and its legacy live on forever.